Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. Yep, Finebaum has ripped Ohio State. He claims they're not going to beat Michigan. They're certainly not going to beat Texas, and they're not going to make the playoff. Now, Paul, surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Yeah, I guess he is. And on top of that, for some reason, Finebaum loves Joey Aguilar. Beats anything I've ever seen. He thinks Tennessee's going to be better off. So we're going to get into both of those big stories. But Paul is definitely pushing it. And just to add a little bit of flavor to the sauce, Jeremiah Smith, their fantastic wide receiver, he's basically uncoverable. He has made it very clear. He says, I'm not a sore loser, but I hate losing. He said, and losing to that team, see, I don't want him to say the name. They just say the team up north. He said, I think in the end it really helped us play the way we did in the playoffs. And he said, but I didn't go to Ohio State to just lose to that team up north. I just hate them. He said, for the next 2 years, I promise you, I will not lose to them. I can't lose to them in the next 2 years. So Jeremiah has pretty much guaranteed 2 victories in a row over Michigan, which they've lost 4 in a row, and 2 of which, look, Michigan had their signs, and that's how they reversed it all. Ohio State had beaten them 15 out of 16 years and just pummeled them. As a matter of fact, Jim Harbaugh was getting ready to get fired. He had to take a 50% pay cut because Ohio State was whooping him so bad. That included Ryan Day. But all of a sudden, Connor Stallions showed up, the Magic Man. And they couldn't lose. And they beat Ohio State a couple of years in a row. Now, the last one, especially the last one, you shouldn't have lost that game. You should have beat the crap out of them. Michigan already had 5 losses last year. So, it is what it is. Maybe in Ohio State's head a little bit, which is that can happen in sports. But Connor had a lot to do with all of this. Anyway, let's take a listen to what Mr. Finebaum had to say about the Ohio State and Michigan and the guaranteed win by Jeremiah.
And it's 4 straight times. So, Paul, what's your reaction when you hear Jeremiah Smith say that?
Well, I'm glad to see somebody on the Ohio State lineup maybe do something more than just mouthing words, because Jeremiah sounds serious. Ryan Day has promised after every loss not to lose again, and he continues to lose again. But you said it a minute ago. They are the defending national champions. So even clowns like me on the 4th of July are not going to call for a firing of a coach because he loses one game. But that is a game he has to deal with at some point. But that national championship game will pay a lot of bills, probably. Yes, including another loss to Michigan.
Yeah, so he thinks there's going to be another loss to Michigan. He also thinks Texas is going to whoop up on him because he loves Arch Manning. He also does not think they've got a very good chance of making the playoffs either.
Paul, what do you think about Penn State, Ohio State, Big Ten? Who do you like out there?
Yeah, I don't like Ohio State because I think Ohio State is going to lose in the opener against Texas, and they are going to struggle to make the playoffs, let alone win it all.
Yeah, so Paul is definitely not a fan of Ohio State. I realize that Paul is an SEC homer. I get that completely. But, man, he has got some hot takes on some top teams, and Ohio State seems to be in his crosshairs. And I doubt Ohio State's going to take that lightly.
Okay. All right. We got served. So now, I guess, it's on.
Yeah, I think it's on now. That just adds more flavor to this Texas-Ohio State game, which is going to kick off a heck of a season in front of us. Now let's take a look at Ohio State's schedule and see whether or not they will make the playoff or not. All right, as you can see, they start out with that big game, and it's a noon game. Golly, Texas versus Ohio State. And Ohio State tried to move the game to a Friday night, and Texas said, nah, we'll play at noon because it's at the Shoe. That should be a great game, but Paul thinks they'll lose that game. Then they've got a couple of gimmies, Grambling State fighting Possums, and then Ohio Bobcats, so that's just a couple of practice games there. Then they play, and then they're off before Washington. Washington's not very good. Minnesota, They do play Illinois, who is a good team. Then they're at Wisconsin. They'll have no trouble with them. Off, that's a good week to be off right before Penn State. That's going to be a great ball game. So they're playing Texas and Penn State and Illinois. So 3 really good games out of that first 7 or so, or 8. At Purdue, worst team in the Power 4. And here's a big game right here. UCLA with Mr. Nico Iamaleava. We'll be talking about him in a minute. And they got to go to the Shoe. I don't think Nico's looking forward to that. Then Rutgers, that'll be no problem. And then their nemesis, Michigan. Oh, and it's at Michigan. At noon. Now, that is a tradition. They always play that at noon. Most of these games will be at noon as well because Fox Sports always puts Ohio State at noon. They usually do about 6 or 7 games at the noontime. So out of these games, you got your tough ones, obviously. Texas, that's going to be rough, but it's at home. Then you've got Illinois. You'll handle them, even though Illinois is not bad. Then Penn State. That's really a big one. And then, of course, Michigan, your arch nemesis, who you've got to break this streak. Otherwise, oh, my gosh. You know how they're going to party in Michigan if they win a 5th one. It'll just be awful. I think they'll make the playoff. I mean, they're going to win. Of the 3, they got 3 really tough games. Texas, Penn State, and then I think Michigan, just because it's just such a brutal rivalry, and all they got to do is win one of those 3. They're going to beat Illinois. So they win one out of those 3, they're in. That's 10-2, and they might win 2 out of 3. I don't think they'll win all 3. I don't see them going undefeated. I just don't. You've got a brand new quarterback, and Julian Sayin. He's a 5-star, but look, it's his first year. That's tough on any quarterback. Then on top of that, you've got a brand new offensive coordinator, brand new defensive coordinator. Jim Knowles ran off to Penn State, which that did not go unnoticed. And then Chip Kelly went to the Raiders, I believe, in the NFL. So that's hard breaking in 2 new guys and a new quarterback. That's just, the continuity's not going to be there right off the bat, and that's going to be really difficult against Texas because Arch is ready to go. That's your toughest game out there, certainly to start out. You're fortunate that's at home. But we'll find out. But Paul Finebaum has called you out, Ohio State. We'll see how this plays out, but should add a lot of flavor to this season. And Paul also loves Joey over Nico, which surprises the crap out of me. Now, he's not a Nico fan. He thinks he did Tennessee pretty crappy. But here's his statement on that. He said, it's pretty obvious the chemistry was not great last year. He said, I think just from a locker room standpoint, Tennessee is in much better shape. Says, now it's Aguilar, the quarterback potentially that Nico was? No. He said, I don't think there's any doubt about that. But I don't think he has to be elite. He just has to get the ball down the field, which Nico could not do very often last year. He also thinks that he will outshine Iamaleava's performance from 2024, which will not be that difficult to do. He only had 19 touchdowns. That's the lowest number of touchdowns of any Josh Heupel offense in the last decade. Normally, there is somewhere between 25 to 30 is pretty much the norm. I think Joe was in the low. I think Joe had like 20 or 21, which is really low. Joe overthrew a bunch of guys. And then, of course, we know Nico overthrew a ton of guys too. Now, Hendon just hit everybody, and then all the quarterbacks before then, they were just awesome under Heupel. So I don't think that's going out on a limb to say that he could have better numbers. I also don't think it's going out on a limb to say better chemistry because it appears to me Joey Aguilar's a good dude and is getting along with everybody. And you didn't hear that Nico didn't get along with people, but I don't know how much of a team player he was. I don't think Paul's gone too far out on a limb on the Joey thing. He went out on a limb on Ohio State. He called them out big time. So now they've got Michigan to be mad at, and they got Paul Finebaum to be mad at. Sometimes that's good. Get you motivated. Especially coming off an Natty, it's real easy to have a letdown. That's very normal, and that's one of the things Nick Saban fought against every year, was everybody touting how great they are. Oh, you guys are so good. Saban hated that.
You know, all that stuff you write about how good we are and all that stuff they hear on ESPN, it's like poison. You know what I mean? It's like taking poison, like rat poison.
Yeah, like rat poison. It is like rat poison. So Ohio State fans, use this as motivation. You got to show Paul up.
I dare ya.
You don't need any motivation for that Michigan game. Shoot. I'll tell you what, I used to think in long-term Alabama-Auburn is the brutalist rivalry out there. It's just this one's gotten so bad between Ohio State and Michigan because of the whole Connor Stallions and Jim Harbaugh and all that.
It's got to be America's team.
It's turned it on its head, and it's made it ugly, which is great for viewing. I can tell you that's one of the games I look forward to the most this year is because there's just so much animosity between the two teams. And then, of course, the Iron Bowl. And my favorite is always going to be Tennessee versus Florida, and we got to go to the Swamp this year. Ugh. Damn that Swamp. Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, 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 hit that button right there. It won't cost you a dime. Help you get my videos. And right over here is the most recent video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy based on your viewing history. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk J. Paul knows how to rile people up.
I'll turn this damn bus around. That'll end your precious little field trip pretty damn quick, huh?